welcome to another great episode of Third Shot Podcast. Thank you for joining us. And as we always ask, please follow us on our social media. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Third Shot Podcast. You can also find us on X at Third Shot Pod. You can find our website, thirdshotpodcast.com, where you can see all of our previous episodes and check out some apparel that we've got. Also some blog posts. We've got it all for you. Today we have a very special episode because I'm sitting here with a gold medalist of a pickleball tournament, Uncle Greg.
Woohoo!
So let's do a toast. You brought home some hardware recently, and I would love to get an update on how those matches went.
All right. Here you go. Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
Drinking is involved. I will expound on that after.
Oh, whoa. You brought home the medals and you had some alcohol along
And
the
I
way.
had, it was pretty cool. So over the weekend, I played in the Tri-Valley Pickleball Club Championship. And it's actually held right where you used to live, right off of Portola in Livermore. So
Okay.
there's a set of courts. I think they used to be, or maybe they still are, tennis courts that they convert into pickleball. And the Tri-Valley Pickleball Club, I think they said there's at least 400 members, and then maybe it's 600 members. So you could see how big pickleball is out in the Tri-Valley area right now. Huge. A lot of people that played in this event, I had no idea, were members of the Tri-Valley Pickleball Club. That's how big this club is. Anyway, this is the club championship, and I played doubles, men's doubles in the 4-0 open age division, and then I played the 4-0 mixed doubles in the 55 and over division, which, thank goodness, because that was the second day, and I was tired after the first day. So the first day, Brian, who you know, Brian Adams, shout out, the best partner. Oh my gosh, we had a fantastic time playing together, and Brigie you and I have been on the losing end playing against Brian in the past.
He's a tough opponent, that is for sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad you partnered with him.
Thank goodness, right? So Brian and I have been playing, in the same clubs over the years, but we've never really partnered together. And most of the time when we're playing rec, we're playing against each other. And he just clobbers me. And I go, if you can't beat him, join him. So I go, hey Brian, they're doing the club championship. You want to pair up with me? And Dublin? He goes, yeah, let's do it. Right. So we got in there and we looked at the competition. It was some really good competition. So it was no cakewalk by any means. There was some really strong 4-0 teams there, or even better 4-0 teams. And it was a round robin, and the top 4 records go into a playoffs. So we kind of got through the round robin, and I think we were 4-1. We lost one match. And we just happened to play that same team in the first round of the playoffs. And we were kind of chit-chatting with them before, kind of we were warming up, and go, how many matches did you win? And they go, oh, just you guys. We go, what? Well, you're the only, we're the only team you beat, and they were the only team that we lost to, right? So it's funny how these whole things go. So anyway, we played. We somehow got through that match because they were just difficult for us. For whatever reason, their styles, Brian and I were talking about it before and after the match, their styles just were challenging for us. And I couldn't even tell you. We couldn't figure it out what it was that they do. Is a father and son team, and the son is super athletic. Literally, he wouldn't walk around the net. He always jumped over the net to go from side to side. He just like a kangaroo. He just hops right over the net. So super athletic. I don't know. I'm the idiot that tries to lob the kangaroo. So he just jumps up like 10 feet in the air and smashes it down. I'm like, okay, well, I'm never doing that again. So anyway,
learned your lesson.
And then we played against 2 guys that I've known ever since, literally since you introduced me to the game. Phil and Ravi, they are super nice guys. They've been playing together for at least 2 years that I know of, and really, really strong competition. They play a lot of tournaments together. We played them during the round robin, and Brian and I knew this was going to be a tough match. We somehow won that match. It was very, very close. I think it was 15-13. And then we saw them in the gold medal match, and Brian and I do. Oh, we knew we were gonna have to face Phil and Ravi again, and we powered through. They got a lead on us, and we somehow, gutted it out and landed up winning 15-12 or 15-13 in the finals. So
That's
we
exciting.
we did it. We did it. We won
Yeah,
gold. And so
that's awesome.
what ha the drinking part comes afterwards. So we do the medal ceremony and stuff like that. I have my lawn chairs out, Brian and I are just kinda kicking back, and I have my Epic Lifestyle pickleball bag, right?
Yeah, with the cooler.
With the cooler. And this nice couple that I've never met before, they were looking at my bag and they go, We've been appreciating your bag, because it looks so cool." One lady says, "Yeah, it kinda reminds me like of a Google type of a bag, the colors are like
Oh, yeah,
that,
I can see that.
right? Like an alphabet type of thing." And I go, "Oh, no, it's like Epic Lifestyle, Pickleball Lifestyle." And then I show the guy, like, and it has a cooler here, right? And he goes, "Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's perfect. That's perfect for, beer." So he pops out a beer, a Piney and a Pliny, and big time brewery up here in Northern California, and they make fantastic beer. And he goes, "Well, you guys won. You deserve a beer." And then Brian just happens to be walking up at that moment, from somewhere, and I go, "Brian, look, we got a Pliny. We get to share a Pliny for winning our gold." And then the guy goes, "Oh, I got a second one for you." So he gives both of us a Pliny. Brian and I landed up spending probably the next 2 hours just
Oh my
hanging
gosh.
out at the court. We were the last ones there. They closed everything down, everything. We were just sitting in our lawn chairs, drinking our Plinies, and just enjoying life.
How
So,
fun. Oh my god, you really enjoy yourself. Whether you're playing, hanging out, you're just so much fun to be around, and I'm sure he felt that too.
yeah, and Brian's such a good guy. I mean, it's just a
Yeah,
genuine,
really.
so, so good a guy, and then a fantastic pickleball player, but we just enjoyed each other's company for a couple of hours, so that was really fun. And then the next day was mixed doubles. I said 55 plus, and there's a story behind this. So, Koo, who is one of my friends that I play pickleball with all the time, she's fantastic. She is the person that introduces me to so many other players. So shout out Koo, love you. She texts me one night and she goes, "I have a friend, Pauline, that needs a mature partner to play mixed doubles with." And I go, "Well, I'm old, but I'm not mature. Are you sure she wants to play with me?" So we go, "Well, let's set up a time where you guys can play together and practice together a little bit." I had actually played against her once before, but we'd never played together. So anyway, we met a couple weekends ago and we got a practice session and we really enjoyed each other. She's so much fun. I love the fact that when we're practicing against other teams, good teams, she's talking trash on the court. She's calling them out. She is like, "Ooh, I got you on that shot." She's like, oh yeah, she is right up my alley. She is so much fun. Pauline is the best. So we agreed to play together after our practice session, and yeah, we struggled during the round robin. We got into the 4 seed, so we had to play the number 1 seed in the first round of playoffs, which is always tough. And we played out of our minds. We really did
Heck
well
yeah.
in the
Killing
first
it out
round,
there.
and we won 15-10. So that was
Good, yeah.
that was a shocker. So this is how much of a shocker it was. So then we go into the gold medal match, and we're walking on the court against the other team that won their match,
Mhm.
and they're looking at their little clipboard, right? And they're going, "We're supposed to be on this court with you." And they go, "Oh, no, this is the gold medal match." And I go, "Yeah, we're in the gold medal match," because they killed us in the round robin. They beat us like 15-5 or 15-6 or something like that. They completely demolished us. So they didn't even expect that there's no way
Oh
that we
my
could have beat
gosh.
the other team to make it into the gold medal match. They were already primed for the team that we ended up beating. So
That's
they were in
funny.
shock. Yeah, and we
Then
gave them a
they
run for their
said,
money.
"Oh, this is the gold medal match. You guys
I
don't
mean, they're you
belong
could just
here."
tell by the look, like, they're like, "You're in the you're on the wrong court. You're not supposed to be here." But, they were they didn't obviously say it that way, but, it would you could tell they were surprised that it was us playing against them in the gold medal match.
Good
So,
for you too. That's awesome.
and
Like
we
an
got a
underdog story.
it was, and we almost had it. I think we were
Yeah.
tied 13-13, and we lost the last 2 points to 15-13, and I'm like, "Oh, we gave
Dang.
it our best." But truly, we had so much fun, and we, exceeded
Good.
expectations. So, Pauline, you are the best. Thank you so much for partnering with me. We are gonna do it again.
Totally. Oh man, that sounds like a blast. And congratulations again to you, Brian, Pauline, and all the club members who really just went out there because, those tournaments wouldn't happen if people didn't show up. So
A
how
lot of
fun.
players, a lot of volunteers, great raffle, hot dogs, Plinies. Oh my gosh, how can you ask for any more?
Yeah, what a time.
It was So next time you come up and you wanna go to Livermore, now I know the courts in Livermore to play.
Perfect. Yeah, my old stomping ground.
I mean, it was literally I remember as I was driving the course, I go, "This is how I get to Bridgie's house." It was exactly the
Oh
same way,
gosh, I
and I
haven't
go
been back in so long.
so do you know Rincon? Rincon
Yes.
Street?
Yep.
That's the
The
street the
preschool
courts
was
are on.
over there, I think. I went to Maynison.
So that's where the courts are at.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. What a throwback.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll go over there. Next time you're up, we'll cruise over
Yes.
there and we'll get Pauline, we'll get Brian, we'll go have some good matches. We'll get
Yes.
Koo.
Bring them
Good times.
all.
Good times, good times. So today, one of the things that I've been showing off to people in the neighborhood is
Yeah.
our cool Third Shot podcast paddles. Love these guys. For the people
Beautiful.
that are watching right now, you're gonna see this really sleek quality paddle that Paddle Lab has made for us, and we're lucky enough to have Scott Smith, the owner and founder of Paddle Lab, joining us. So while we bring Scott on, please go to our website. As Bridgie was saying earlier, we have some cool stuff there. And then go to our social media with his Third Shot podcast on Facebook and Instagram, and on X, Third Shot Pod, on YouTube, Third Shot Podcast. And you can see how gorgeous these paddles truly are. So, with that, let's bring Scott on. Hey, Scott, welcome to Third Shot Podcast.
Uncle Greg, how are you?
Oh, I'm ready.
Are you? So am I. Let's
Yeah.
go. Brigie, how you
Awesome.
doing?
Well, I'm doing fantastic. And for our listeners, if you're just listening right now, I highly recommend you opening up YouTube and going to watch this episode because right now you can see all of Scott's amazing paddles lined up behind him. And we're going to get into all of that. But first, we're going to do a little toast to Paddle Lab.
To Paddle
This
Lab.
is Woodford Reserve whiskey, so it's not a full shot, and it's gonna be a little dangerous, but we'll try and go here.
Let's go.
Heck
Let's
Ready? Are
yeah.
go.
we
Cheers.
toasting first? I'm sorry. Okay, cheers. Here we go.
Yeah, cheers. It's funny because Woodford is one of my favorites, and I almost poured Woodford today, but I went with the Jack just because I don't know. It called my name and said you should do some Jack tonight. So I said, "All right, okay, I'm doing some Jack,"
It's
but
hard
you're
to do
doing
a
the
shot
Woodford
of
for
whiskey,
me.
though. Oh man,
So
we
I
get
know
back
I
to my.
teased a little earlier about all those great paddles, but I do want to know, how did you get into the world of pickleball? What was your first step into the game? What's your background? Share with us all of that first.
Yeah, that sounds good. Played tennis pretty much my whole life from age 12 on. played competitive tennis. Actually, grew up in Northern California, playing a lot of the tournaments there. Played at DVC, Diva Valley College, when we had a really good team.
Yeah.
Played at Chico State in a club team as well. And so just kind of had that tennis background. And then I moved over to pickleball about 7 years ago, and I haven't picked up a tennis racket since then. It's crazy. Those guys that couldn't go, some people can go from pickleball back to tennis and back to pickleball. I tried it a few times. I was hitting shots off the throat of the racket, and it just had no timing at all. And then the court looked so big and just crazy. So yeah, love playing. I play fairly competitively, right around a 4.0 level. Play a few tournaments a year. I do some teaching on the side, just a little bit. And as you guys know, it's just such a great sport. Met so many great people with it, and I'm still working my real day job, if you will, but I still try to get in like 3 days a week of pickleball.
So why did you first start playing pickleball? Did somebody introduce it to you, or did you just see everybody at the courts starting to move into pickleball 7 years ago?
Yeah, because obviously 7 years ago, pickleball was not that
Yeah.
popular. In
Yeah.
Yeah.
fact, the courts we had were striped on tennis courts in our community at the time, and I saw a couple people playing, and I just started hitting with them a little bit. And having a tennis background, you pick it up fairly quickly, at least in the beginning, and then from there, I was just hooked and addicted, and the community got larger and larger. And now we've got a good group of players, and it's been a lot of fun. It's crazy.
That's awesome. Well, I'm happy that you made the switch because now you've got this amazing company called Paddle Lab. Share with our listeners what you do, because it's a little unique. It's not the typical paddle company that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, I kind of call it, if you've heard of blue ocean before, you're going after a market where there's not a lot of competitors, perhaps. And so one of the things I was thinking about is I was looking around a couple years ago, and I was looking at different events that were popping up. Like baseball stadiums were starting to do pickleball nights. Basketball stadiums were doing pickleball nights with branded paddles. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was working with a company that did over 100,000 co-branded paddles. And I started thinking about that, and what I discovered is that it was kind of through an ad or marketing agency. And let me back up for a minute. My background is in consumer products, and then I was also VP of sales for the West for a promotional products company. And so I kind of understand that whole business, right, where you're branding and the importance of branding. And so I started looking at the sport of pickleball, and great brands like Carbon or Selkirk typically don't co-brand. And so I started thinking about it and did some research and found a partner that I've been involved with that helps to manufacture really the best pickleball paddles that you can buy for the most part out there in various price ranges, and have the ability to do some great art graphics on there as well too, through a high heat process. So anyway, long story short, what I was thinking about was going through a promotional products distributor at first to hit all the Fortune 500 companies. Pickleball is the new golf, right? When it comes to a corporate event or something like that.
Yep.
So that's where the big opportunity is. But all of a sudden, it just started with word of mouth, working with some pickleball clubs where I've designed their paddles and put those into place. Another pickleball clothing brands, pickleball sunglasses, companies that we started working with that wanted to promote their brand in the pickleball world. So it's been, putting very little energy, and it's been wildly successful. And we have the ability to, here's a good example of, Dink eyewear for those of you that are on the not online that can see this. Basically, it's a palette that's two-sided. One side is the Dink eyewear. It looks like the actual glasses are there, almost 3D, right? And the other
Yeah.
side
Yeah.
is Dink, and the Paddle Lab logo is there. And what's cool about it, again, it's just a great way to help promote your brand or drive a consumer activation event, marketing event. Could be an employee pickleball outing. The opportunities are kind of endless. So I don't think there's a ton of people that are doing this to the degree that I think we can, especially with the different levels of pals, which I'm happy to speak to as well. And for me, it's really exciting. And I do plan on kind of exiting my corporate job here in the very near future and spend more time on this. And I don't really see it as a job. I see it as just a ton of fun, meeting people and helping to extend their brands. as we go out into the market and leverage pickleball as the excuse to kind of do that. And you know how crazy the growth has been in the sport. So I get super excited about it. It's a lot more exciting than what I do typically on my day job. So
Take me with you, Scott. Come on, let's go. I appreciate you talking about the different levels of paddles because I've seen some co-branded paddles out there which are just really cheap imitations of a real pickleball paddle, right? And then they just
right.
put a picture on it and they go, oh, it's co-branded paddle, right? Your paddles, like, and then you made us some amazing third shot paddles. I'm showing mine right now for all the YouTube watchers. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. But I just kind of rubbed the grit. The grip on it is beautiful. I mean, it feels good on the hand. You have quality paddles. Now you have different levels, which I think
Yeah.
is really smart. So tell everybody what are the different levels that people can get. And you even have a junior paddle. I mean, come on, you thought
Yeah.
of everything. So talk
Well,
to everybody
I don't
about
know about that, Greg,
what you
but
got there.
it's great to hear from you guys being pickleball players yourselves too. And I know you're accomplished players. I actually just hit with that third shot paddle the other day. There's three levels. The first is a fiberglass kind of entry level, more designed for a company that might be running an event or an employee type deal, if you will, with inside their company. The second level is the one that you have, which is a UD carbon. So it's carbon fiber paddle. And then also 16-inch in terms of 16 millimeter in terms of the width of this too. So it's a good quality paddle. When you hit with that, it's not a paddle you or I would necessarily go play a tournament in, but we can certainly hit and play with it. The sweet spot's great. It's pretty forgiving. And you're right. It's a good paddle. I think it plays like probably a $99, maybe a little bit more paddle, in my opinion. Cost certainly much lower than that. If you think about it, my overhead is right here. So, and my margins are fairly thin. So that allows me to give great pricing and great designs as well. The higher level, and we can do other ones too. We can do Kevlar, we can do anything, is the T700 thermoformed all one piece paddle. I've done a few of those as well too. That definitely is a paddle that plays more like 150 plus dollars in terms of value, and a very good paddle. I don't see a lot of need for that as we look at doing corporate promotions, unless it's something where there's high level pickleball players playing in there, or it's somebody that really wants to play that paddle competitively. So a lot of what we do is more in that mid-level range of the paddle we did for you guys in the UD Carbon, because it looks great, like you said. It's very respectable from a playing standpoint, and I'm glad you guys enjoy it as well too.
It plays great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, people, unless you're like playing PPA, open level, I think you're
Right.
going to be fine if for recreational play and most of the tournament play, social tournament play.
Yeah.
The paddle that you made for us is fine. Absolutely. Yeah. Works.
Great.
Yeah.
And
That's great.
not only is the paddle itself quality, but the graphics that come out on the paddle are also amazing too. And we can see a few designs behind you, but if you want to just show off a couple of your favorites maybe and show us what you've got and kind of walk us through what the process is like if someone was interested in getting a custom paddle.
Yeah, that sounds great. The good news is we can do pretty much anything. So basically, what we try to do is take your artwork or your design, as we've kind of done with yours as well too, and then we make it come to life with a high heat press. This is a great example of a very creative paddle that we did, and it was for Cheville, which is actually a partner of ours. And they are a younger, cutting edge clothing brand for pickleball. As you can see in the background here, for those of you that
Yeah.
are
You
live
got a
here.
lot lined up there. You got a lot of paddles lined up.
We did a guitar paddle, so it's just like a guitar.
Your guitar
So
paddle, I mean, when you look at it, it looks amazing. It looks like it's a real guitar, and then you have to stare at it and you go, "Oh, that's on a paddle."
yeah,
It's the
right,
craziest thing I've
exactly.
ever seen.
Well, Greg, if you do some more shots, on this show, you might be strumming it pretty soon. I watch out for that sometimes. But that's how real it looks, and that's what's great about this too. And I did want to talk about this company a little bit. They are Centerline Athletics is their parent company, if you will, their partners, if you will, and they sponsor Thomas Wilson I've been working closely with Scott Brown, who works with them, and that's actually how the Katy Perry opportunity came about. This, by the way, is an example of some of their branding you may have seen out in the marketplace that they do. Kind of younger, cool vibe. The other one they do is like Big Dink. Make sure I say that right. Big Dink energy for those of you that can see. So they're great to work with. We've done a lot of collaborative, including the panel I just showed you, events. And one of them was Katy Perry, where they partnered with the foundation along with myself, Katy Perry's Firework Foundation, and then brought me in as a partner to do the paddle. So they had basically their clothing that they provided to all of their guests, most of which were celebrities who were donating to the charity, as well as these paddles. And this is a great one. We worked with their team directly and had a lot of fun. And so we did the paddle cover, which we can do for anybody, which is kind of neat for messaging
That's
and whatnot.
cool.
And then I thought this came out great. Katy Perry herself and team had said it was amazing. And this is the kind of gives you that firework feel, if you will,
Yeah.
for the foundation, ignite the light. If you're looking on my Instagram, you'll see some pictures of Katy Perry, holding the paddle. She autographed the paddle, which is really cool too, which I'm still waiting to get back. But anyway,
How did
yeah,
you get
so
introduced
really,
to the foundation and Katie?
so that was more so through the Cheville and Centerline brand and Scott Brown, who I'm working with. They took the lead on that and
Mhm.
then brought me in. So it's kind of what our partnership's about. We try to complement one another wherever we can. If I have an opportunity to take a look at a major retailer I might be working with in my current business and consumer products and tie those guys into that potentially, I'll look at that as well. But they've been super helpful to Paddle Lab for sure. We did the guitar paddle for them as well too, and love working with those guys. And their brand is really spot on in terms of what I would say, coolness, cutting edge, and in pickleball. So they got me the introduction. We partnered together, made it happen, and yeah, pretty cool. Pretty proud of that. Right early on at Paddle Lab to be able to do something like that and help out with her charity, which is a great charity too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. It was
absolutely.
when I saw the post with Katie with your paddle, I was like, okay, Scott, he got some connections because that was a pretty a high profile event. Like you said, there was a lot of celebrities there. I saw different posts from just random people, random celebrities, random companies, all posting that they were playing pickleball with Katie at the Firework Foundation. So anyway, it was really cool. I'm so happy that you got that. For people that are interested in doing work with you, I have to say, Amanda in our marketing department was working with you to put together the graphic for our paddle, and she came back to us and was just saying how easy it was. Tell us, like, what do you need from a client to actually create a paddle for them?
I think it's first kind of just discussing what are the goals, what are the objectives for what they want to do. The latest one, which is in production right now, there's a new club called Picklewood that's opening in Seattle. It's an indoor pickleball club next year. It's going to be super cool. So I talked with their owner about, hey, what are some things we can do? And so in this example, he's creating a bundle that new members can get upon getting a membership with the club, and it includes a Picklewood paddle and some other things as well too. So it's kind of reaching out to us, either giving us a call, which on paddlelabpickleball.com, we have our information there, and it's kind of starting from there. But again, if it's a company out there that's just whether I'll just say Frito-Lay, Purina Ketchup, T-Mobile, whomever, right? Pickleball. There's a reason or excuse to use pickleball to drive your business because the popularity of it and the challenge and the opportunity to tie into fitness and everything else. So we just be reaching out to us, giving us a call, talking about what you're looking for, what you want, and then we can start doing the design process. We do proofs back and forth. We talk about grip color. We talk about grid or no grid on the paddle, depending on the art. We talk about thickness. We have so many different things we can do. We can customize the paddle butt if we want. We can customize the paddle ring if we want. So there's a lot of cool things. We can do paddle covers. It's kind of endless in terms of the different things we can do. The other thing that's kind of cool, if you will, is that our turnaround time is actually 45 days end to end if we're using air, closer to 75, 80-ish if we're doing ground. So for those that have an event coming up or a club that has a major event coming up, for example, we could turn those pretty quickly. And it's very cost efficient if you really think about it from kind of A to Z. So yeah, anybody can reach out to Paddle Lab. We'd love to work with you and talk about opportunities. We have like a 50 paddle minimum typically. We're doing a lot of things where we're getting 200-300 paddles at a time, and it's worked out nicely.
Yeah, y'all have really thought of it all. Like I wouldn't have even thought the paddle butt part of it could be customized as far and the grip too, everything really. Out of all of your clients that you've had or had the pleasure of working with, aside from ours, do you have
Yes.
a favorite paddle that just really stands out to you that you kind of hold close to your heart?
Yeah, I would say the Cheville guitar paddle is definitely one. The other one I would share, which we're actually doing right now, which I'll share with you, is there's a story here. If I got a few minutes, I'll go through a story with you guys.
Absolutely.
So this is Cooking with Daryl, and he does a great job doing recipes live of steaks and everything. It's amazing. In fact, he just came out with this book, and his tagline is, are you kidding me? And so if you watch it, you'll kind of get used to it. But the story behind this, which is really interesting, is that when I worked at Nintendo for about 8 years, he was at Microsoft Xbox. So we were direct competitors. So we would be at Best Buy headquarters, we'd be at Target headquarters, we'd be at industry events, and we never talked to each other because we were competitors. And in that direct field of Nintendo and Xbox, you're kind of like, I'm not going to talk to you. The rest of the industry is very social, very, very tied in with others, but not at that level. At least it wasn't back then. And so that was years ago. And all of a sudden, I'm on Instagram, and he has 400,000 followers on Instagram. He's got 3 million TikTok followers, all organic, which is amazing. And so I looked at his site, started following him. I reached out to him. I said, hey, do you remember me, Scott Smith? Nintendo goes, yeah, absolutely. Although, once again, we never really spoke before. And so I started talking about pickleball with him. And this is a great example of where pickleball ties into anything. So if pickleball ties into cooking, it ties into anything. And so what we started talking about was a collaboration where perhaps on his site he could sell the paddles. Whether we're doing that now or not, we're not sure. But what we are going to do is he's going to have it posted on his site. I just posted it on mine. He just tagged it recently. And we're going to do a giveaway, 10 of these custom designed Cooking with paddles for all his fans, which is basically doing an entry. And what's neat about that, because he has so many followers, is he kind of tagged me, accept the collaboration on Instagram, and I got over 10,000 views. Now, typically I might get, I don't know, 500 views or something. So, he's been great in that. And so we're going to do that pretty soon. We'll announce that on his different socials and mine as well. But really a cool story in terms of thinking back to years ago, a business tie-in. Never really talked to the guy, reach out to him. He's super cool, super receptive. And now look at what we're doing. So I'd say this is another kind of favorite of mine, and probably one of my favorite stories of so far working with clients and how it came about.
Well, does he have a pickle recipe?
It's a really good question, and I have not asked him that. He should do a pickle sandwich.
He
And I'm going to follow up with him, Greg, on that. It's a good
Okay.
call. If you
Right,
want to
or
reach
do a
out to
fried
him,
pickle, something.
yeah, no, I think it's spot on. I'm going to give him a shout back on that too, but you feel free as well. Follow him, send him a note or something. He's pretty good
Will
about
do.
responding. I love that idea. His book, doesn't have, I checked, it doesn't have that recipe in it, but it's got tons of others. He could have put one in there. Maybe book number 2 will have him do that.
Book number 2, or just do, a YouTube
Yeah,
clip with the
yeah,
with a new recipe with pickle, and then show the paddle, right? It all
yeah.
ties together.
All
And then
right, so we're
serve
going
it
to
on
do that. We're going to do that, and I'm going to call you guys out on that too, okay? Because if he does it,
Ooh,
I'm going to tag you guys and add to it. It's a great
absolutely.
idea. It's a
we'll
great
share it
idea.
all over the
You
place.
get
Yeah.
credit.
And yeah, and then we can make the recipe on our next show or something.
I
Oh,
love it. You got
Right?
Yeah,
God.
maybe
Taste
the two of
test.
you come on the next show and you do the recipe. You make the pickle.
You guys are just way too creative for me. I can't handle this. These ideas are too good. They're amazing.
Who knew this was going to turn into a brainstorming session, huh?
Right.
Pickle sandwiches next time, and chatting on that. We'll get Daryl on too, and we'll do that live. It's a good call. I like it.
Well, one of your recent posts on Instagram with your two sons, they're big time players as well. Tell us a little bit about them.
Yeah, I used to kick their ass years ago, and now it's completely opposite. So yeah, Trevor and Brody. Trevor, they both live in San Diego, which is kind of neat, and I get to go over there and play with them every once in a while. And they're both very good players. That 4.550 range or so, and so it's fun to get out there and play with them. It's a good family thing. It's funny because years ago when they hadn't really started, I think that was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. They're like, "Dad, you're buying pickleball paddles all the time. You're taking lessons. You're spending all this money. What's pickleball?" I mean, they knew what it was, and all of a sudden they're so addicted. They're watching PPA tournaments on the weekend on Amazon Prime and ESPN, just like I am, and they're killing me now in the sport. But it's super fun. They're great guys, and love playing with them. It's just great to see their progress. And youth like you guys have a bit of an advantage over older guys like me, but it's super fun, super fun.
That's why I
That's
played mixed
awesome.
with Brigie. She brings the energy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Then he has to play
Well,
down like to my age bracket, and he holds his own, so he's hanging in there quite well.
that is great. I'll be in Vegas probably next month. I'm gonna give you a shout and see if you want to go hit somewhere. Seriously, Bridget, it'd be
Yeah,
fun.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Sunset Park is a great spot, but yeah, hit
Yep.
me up and then we'll get something planned out there.
Well,
Great.
Chicken and Pickle is opening up in Vegas in November, so depending on when you go, maybe you could hit
Well,
up the
they
Chicken and
are.
Pickle too. Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
actually, I'm planning on going out for a Raider game. I think it's against the Falcons. I want to say it's Sunday night, mid-December. So,
Oh,
so that's cool. That could be open. Let's get together. Let's get Greg
yeah.
down there too, and let's play a little bit.
He's
And
got a place to stay,
well,
so why not?
there you go. No
exactly.
excuse.
Well, Raiders, you kind of caught my ear now. Like, okay, we can catch a Raider game. We're gonna play some pickleball. Maybe we'll go get some chicken. Yeah, it's all working out. I get to see
Yeah,
my
Right.
daughter. I get to see my niece. Oh, this is perfect.
Yeah.
it's ideal. So let's book it. I'll let you know when I'm going in case it does work out. Um, the Raider thing, that's a whole other story. I just kind of want to. Hopefully, they score a touchdown. I'll be happy with that. I mean, I'm not expecting to win, right?
They're kicking a lot
Unfortunately.
of field goals, though. I got to give them credit. They're kicking a lot of field goals, like 5 a game. It's amazing. They got to be Carlson's got to be the fantasy kicker of the league this year.
Yeah.
But I noticed on your site that you do a lot of basketball paddles. Are people just requesting some basketball paddles?
No, you know what? We actually did that for. So I was working through our distributor. I shouldn't say our distributor, a distributor contact, which has been Susan Deutsch and Associates (BDA). They're one of the biggest promotional products distributors in the industry. They have tie-ins with sports teams, and they're really known for doing the terrible towels at Pittsburgh Steelers games and just anything sports oriented, season ticket gifts, things of that nature. And so we were partnering together a little bit, and that's where I hope to get some of those bigger Fortune 500 companies later. But they had a show where they had NFL, NBA teams there looking at different promotional opportunities, whether it's shirts, hats, whatever. We had paddles there too. So those were more for the show, in hopes that we would get some opportunities at the Golden State Warriors, for example, right? And
Yeah.
do a pickleball night. Hasn't happened yet, but fingers crossed, I think we're going to be able to do some things like that. And that was kind of the excuse to make those paddles for that event. And that's kind of what we're going after is sports teams as well too. And it's a slow build so far. It's been great, as I mentioned, but hoping to really just grow and get some of those bigger company opportunities kind of like that as well.
Well, I know Kevin Durant plays pickleball, so maybe you have to do a Phoenix Suns paddle for him.
Yeah, in fact, doesn't he own part of an MLP team, I believe, too?
He does. He does. Yeah.
Yeah,
LeBron also owns one, so
yeah,
there's a Lakers tie there. So there's a lot of opportunities for you.
yeah. I'll just give him a call and see what he says, right? Hey, Kevin, you know me,
I
Scott Smith. How's it going?
well, I got him on speed dial. It's KD. I just say, hey KD,
There
what's
you go.
up, bro?
No, I love that, and I got to find a way to get a hold of those guys, which I'm not afraid of trying, right? And you're right, there could be some really cool things with that too. I mean, so I think using some of our success out there with the Katy Perrys of the world can maybe even help us too. So yeah, excited about things like that too.
Yeah,
You guys are
Jeremy
getting me pumped
Lin,
up.
Jeremy Lin has Knicks background, Golden State Warriors background. He's now playing overseas in Asia, but he owns a piece of the Bay Area Breakers, and he just did
Okay,
an event recently up at the Hub here in Alameda, and he had Michael Chang there, and
really?
yeah, it was an amazing event. It was really sponsoring kind of Asian American athletes, so
Yeah,
went really really well.
that's cool. I love
So,
that.
so yeah, Jeremy Lin, give him a call. He's got
Yeah,
pickleball
there you
knowledge.
go. The other thing too, Greg, honestly, is a lot of this has been word of mouth too. So it's like you, for example, you might be out there, maybe you run into someone like that, and then you mention, by the way, hey, Paddle Lab does this. That's how we've grown so far, and how I think we'll continue to grow. We've had some good contacts out there, kind of just spread the world word, and we go from there. So, no, appreciate that support too, and give Jeremy a call as well, man.
Yeah, it seems like there's so many opportunities out there, especially with all these different charity events going on and
Yeah.
different companies popping up. So I'm sure we'll be seeing so much more of you and so many more paddles, exciting designs on there. For our listeners who want to check out some of the work that you've done, what's the best place for them to see some of these paddles?
I'd say two things. One, paddlelabpickleball.com has a good number of our paddles, which I'll kind of do some more updates here in the near future. And then, follow us on Instagram, Paddle Lab Pickleball. That's where a lot of the images and pictures we have as well too. That's a great spot. So if anybody would like to do that, then would love to follow them back as well, and would certainly appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for doing our paddles. We want to do one last shot before we let you go to the
Oh boy,
future of Paddle Lab. I know, you can do as many shots now as you want because you don't have to talk anymore. So,
true, true.
so to Paddle Lab and all the great work you're doing, Scott. Great
Cheers
Yes,
to you
job.
guys as
cheers.
well. Thank you for
Cheers.
having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we gotta get the third shot paddle on your site. That was the one that was missing. That I know it's coming. That's the
Yeah.
update. That's coming.
It will. I put it on my Instagram, which I'll do
Yeah, you
another feature
did.
again. But yes, that'll be on my site as well. And I'm glad you guys like that. And you're kind of showing it off. And if we need to do some more in the future, let me know too. We'll make it happen.
We'll appreciate that, and thank you so much for coming on the show. And everybody that's listening and watching, again, hopefully you're watching because you get to see some of these fantastic examples of paddles that Paddle Lab is doing. But thank you for joining us. Bridgie and I will continue to share our pickleball journey. A real special thanks to Scott Smith, the owner of Paddle Lab, for coming on and sharing his work. For more information, go to his website, which is paddlelabpickleball.com, or go to his Instagram, which is paddle_lab_pickleball. I highly encourage you to take a look at it. If you have any events, if you have a company, you need something to get some morale going, pickleball is a great way to do it. The entry level is very easy to get your company branded on some paddles and have some fun. So I highly encourage you to go take a look at that. And you can support this show by subscribing. And we promise to have more fantastic guests just like Scott in future episodes. So let's continue to share our enjoyment for the game and grow this pickleball community together. See you next time on Third Shot Podcast.